Most of you know that I was the installation director for Karastan for over a decade. This story, however, takes place well before that. There used to be a large national retailer called the Jones Store. They were a high-end department store. Like most old department stores, they just didn't sell carpet. They sold everything. Back at the time of this story, salespeople did their own measuring and ordering. The customer we're going to talk about lived in a very expensive home, and the house was full of antiques. They ordered the most expensive carpet that Karastan made, pattern 717. When the job was scheduled, I checked the so-called diagram. The first problem that I noticed was there was no pattern matches included. For those of you who don't know, pattern 717 has a pattern match of 11.6 by 5.9. This is one of the most difficult patterns to figure. On top of this, there was a grand staircase about 4 foot wide that led up to a second floor large hallway. I contacted the salesperson and told him I don't understand your work order. I asked for permission to contact the customer directly and review the installation. I set up an appointment with the customer, took a sample of the merchandise with me, and we discussed her expectations. It's funny because while I was on the job site, I asked the customer her level of concern over matching the pattern. She said to me, for the amount of money that I'm paying, it better match. And I've already told you that this job had expensive furniture, really expensive furniture, unreplaceable antiques, and we had to move all of it. The liability was through the roof. I don't know about you, but this kind of special handling for me increases the cost of my labor. And now I had to change hats from installer to salesperson. I know that I'm in a hole. The salesperson is in a hole. And the Jones Store's in a hole. Right now, I'm the only one that can dig us out. I knew no matter what else I did, I had 3 things that I had to do. I had to save face for the Jones Store. And I had to make sure that that customer was happy. And most important, I had to make money. I pointed out where all seams would be located and assured her that the job would be done to her satisfaction. I got the customer to sign off on the additional carpet. Then I contacted the salesperson and the store manager. I explained the situation to them and told them to order the additional carpet. I can tell you, it was easier to convince the customer to spend more money than convincing the salesperson that I hadn't stepped on his toe. He wasn't happy. He wanted to know why I was explaining anything to his customers. I agree. It wasn't my responsibility to tell a customer anything. I told him that I was only trying to save the job for him and the Jones Store. I'm going to skip all the difficulties of this installation, and it was difficult. But at the end of the day, that customer was 100% satisfied. And the manager of the store called me personally and thanked me for representing him professionally. The whole point of this story, you're going to work with difficult people. Sometimes it's the salesperson. Sometimes it's the customer. Sometimes it's other workers. But at the end of the day, as a businessman, but not just an installer, it's your job to have satisfied customers and money in your bank account. I encourage all installers to share their good information. I do on my Facebook and my YouTube channels. There's lots of good information there for you. If you have stories that you think other installers can learn from, share them with me. I'll broadcast them. Thanks for listening. And remember, I believe in you.